Well, markets are setting up a really nasty sell side day. Typically, markets don't bottom on a Friday, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. But SPY cracking new lows here as we're selling off pretty sharply. The majority of sell side pressure is coming from your semiconductors SOXX down pretty sharply here as we're about to open in 12 minutes. BTC is getting cracked as well. Seeing more downside, sell side pressure. That's looking like a big fat short. Let's just quickly run through the mags and then we'll talk about some of the individual movers. All right, so this morning Nvidia is down 1.9%. Now, Nvidia did hammer off a major support level yesterday. This was a big technical support zone. Being the fact that we hammer off of it once and are selling past that low pivot is very, very weak. That being said, Nvidia in the short term is getting slightly oversold. The level that I'm watching now is this gap fill. So if we come into this zone here, there is a potential long trade for a bounce. I'm going to let it sell off and try to at least get into this green box. All right, let's take a peek at Google. Google right now is down 0.53%. Oops. Google this morning, Google yesterday did have a really fantastic bounce off of the lows. That being said, still in a heavy downtrend, but possibly forming a falling wedge pattern here. Actually, the better way to draw it is probably from here. So the falling wedge pattern has not hit the downside wedge yet, but I would say that if we were to sell off into this bottom of this trend line over the next couple days, that could be a decent long opportunity. So there is a falling wedge starting to appear. Apple, after having a nasty down day yesterday, almost completing its bear flag move. Basically, Apple's seeing a little bit of a bounce, 0.24% bounce right now. The talk of the town in mags is your Microsoft up 1.31% right now, so that's boosting your software space. IGV, if we take a peek at that, is due for a bit of a dead cat bounce. Whoops. IGV this morning is seeing a little bit of a bounce off of a previous little gap fill zone as well. So it did hit a nice technical zone. So software is looking a little bit decent here as semis are selling off. Amazon right now is also green slightly, quite oversold. Not on your daily, but more so on your 4-hour hourly. I really don't like Amazon here yet, but it's eking out a small gain. SpaceX is down right now 2%. SpaceX is doing everything it can to hold that IPO opening price. Pretty crazy. Meta. Meta right now is just still looking weak, although it's green in the pre-market. Meta still looks like it wants to test this 2-year trend line. I wish it would flush and pierce into that zone today, but wouldn't be surprised if Meta has a small pop and then a fade. Tesla this morning is down 1.54%. Tesla's chart is just looking nasty. I mean, the bear case is 278 right now on Tesla. A little bit of a higher target is going to be this upsloping trend line just to keep things clean. But Tesla's looking real, real nasty. Micron is the big loser on the session today. That is down, what is it, 6.93%. Again, I'm still holding half of my Micron short from yesterday, right off that 1251. So that position as of now is roughly up almost 10% if we hit that pre-market low. AMD seeing quite a bit of sell side pressure, down 4.24. If you lose this pivot low zone from yesterday, I think this could melt all the way down to the 487 gap today. That's just the way the structure is setting up. Intel, INTC, Also, potential failed breakout here of all-time highs. So the level that I'm going to be watching is a move and back test back to your gap fill around 120.70. What else do we have? Netflix is having a really good session. Netflix is quite oversold here on the daily, bouncing nicely. I wish it flushed into this gap here around $70. Just kissed it, but bouncing ahead of time. Netflix is getting interesting down here into a little bit of an accumulation zone, so we'll see what happens there. Natural gas, this pattern is looking ultra bullish. Nat gas inventories were technically a fundamental bearish print yesterday, with a less than stellar build on the inventories. You actually had a bigger build than expected, which implies quite a bit of weakness in the nat gas sector, but the technicals and the price action is still up 2%. So very positive when you get a fundamental bearish print, and that fundamental bearish print yields positive price action. So that's looking pretty solid if it can break out here. We're just scrolling through the charts just to see. BlackBerry's been another high flyer. Still looking like it's going to get a breakout. Wouldn't be surprised to see BlackBerry get a buy the dip. Rocket Labs had some news after hours. It's slightly green. UNH continues to remain strong. Uranium is getting clobbered again today. Western Digital, WDC. Ouch. Nastiness today, gapping down on the session. China stocks continue to get hammered. I mean, look at this Alibaba chart. I tried buying the dip once, got stopped out with a tight stop, but Baba undercutting some lows. This is one that's just getting so oversold. Even on your RSI, look at that. We're trading now 1668, and this is before the gap down. So honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see Alibaba get a dip buy today. This is one that I am interested in just for a day trade long. Just for a day trade long, I'm looking at buying the dip today in Alibaba. I think that it could get a little bit of relief bounce, in my opinion. Look at Palantir here again. PLTR has been getting hammered as well. Yep, getting a little bit of relief bounce this morning. Palantir is trading into a little bit of support here. I still had it going a touch lower, but trying to firm up today. Quantum slightly weak. Staples are catching bid. Healthcare still remains strong. Still the open. My sense is saying last Friday, 60 plus Fridays closed green. Interesting. Interesting. Thanks for that. What a fucking bounce there on SPY. Holy shit, where did that come from? Looking at Alibaba calls, guys. Zero DTEs. Probably gonna jump into the, what are we at? 92s. 91 or 92s. Again, software guys looks pretty decent to buy the dip. Lots of names that are still pretty oversold out there, at least for a dead cat bounce. I'm looking at Alibaba though, $92 calls. But just be careful, it could be a short to pop day today. All right, markets are open here, guys. Markets are open. All right, SOXX is down 4.2, IWM down 0.78, SPY down 0.84, QQQ down 1.5. SPY is getting hammered right now to the downside. Micron still struggling. SOXX is trying to go for pre-market low. IGV still holding somewhat firm. Micron small dip buy. SOXX continues to drill. You got Bitcoin down 1.19%, testing 59K. Trying to get a small dip buy. Micron trying to bounce. Nice push on ServiceNow, up 3.5%. GoDaddy up 1.96. CRM up 2.83. Microsoft up 1.37. IGV's up at 1%, busting through pre-market high, catching a really nice bid. So again, software is moving this morning. You got Apple and Microsoft are your mags that are green. Meta's trying to fight to the green side. Nvidia's still struggling. Google's struggling. Amazon down 0.3. SpaceX down 2.2. Tesla getting hit. But it's predominantly your semis that are getting smoked this morning. Natural gas still remains up 1.92, but trying to break out, getting rejected slightly. S&P new lows. SOXX melting a little bit sharper. Quantum is now falling pretty sharply. We are seeing quite a bit of heavy sell side pressure in your semis. Micron trying to go for pre-market low. SOXX, SOXX is through its pre-market low, while IGV is busting through its pre-market high. So clearly relative strength remaining in software. We got lots of rotation happening out of your semiconductor. Again, I still remain short Micron from yesterday off that 1251 area, 1251.20. We are deep in profits. So nice job there. You do have a really nasty candle breakdown on SPY, guys. Hourly chart, if this doesn't get stick saved in the next 55 minutes, you got a head and shoulders on the hourly for SPY. You've broken structure. You're now losing the 50-day moving average. There is a support trend line though on SPY that we're literally coming up into. That's a multi-year support trend line, so wouldn't be surprised to see a little mini bounce off that zone, which you can see SPY is trying to bounce slightly. Software still pushing. Looking at a $94 call on Alibaba, 0 DTE. Nice push up on Baba, guys. Really good movement here. S&P catching a fat candle bid. Semis are getting a really big stick bounce. Microsoft trying to bust through its pre-market high. All right, I'm looking for a first trim here on Baba, guys, coming up very shortly. Come on, get to 94. Get to 94. Come on. Position at 43 cents. First trim is at 94 even. Come on. You can get there. Still seeing some heavy sell side pressure in your semis. You can do it. Microsoft ripping, IGV ripping, guys. Software is moving quickly to the top side. We've got Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, Meta, all green now. Qs are still lagging. SOXX is down 5% near the lows of the session, still lagging quite a bit. Micron testing 1136, lagging. IGV is ripping to the top side right now. Absolutely flying. Your software trade is shaking and moving this morning. ServiceNow up 5.78%. CRM up 3.9. Microsoft up 2.36. Uranium still lagging. SOXX going for new lows. Rocket Labs up 3.7. SpaceX trying to catch a bit of a bid here as well. S&P catching a nice bid. Wow, IGV is ripping. Testing 86.26. Pushing to the top side. So if you get a small mini bounce in your semis with the software strength, S&P and Qs should have a really decent sized move back up, but still looks like a short the pop day for now. All right, Baba is starting to lose a little bit of momentum here. Close to getting stopped out for break even. All right, guys, Baba stopped me out at break even. Should have taken, I had about 40% there gains. I'll look to re-enter Baba, $94 calls below 38 cents a contract minimum. All right, so we're still got strength in software. S&P still trying to hold the 728 area. So the 730 puts that we swung yesterday for SPY near the end of July are up about 35%. 1355, 1366 a con right now. So that's doing quite well. SOXX new lows, down 5.3%. SOX is now melting through the 20-day moving average. Sorry to hear that, YS. Sorry to hear that. Some Beacon Alibaba, $94 call at 40 cents, half position. Again, these are zero DTEs, so size appropriately if you're going to play zeros. They should not be crazy big sizes. Microsoft still holding steady, looking decent. Unity Software making a move. Seeing strength back in healthcare, XLV up 1.77. STZ. That's another interesting sector, guys. We've been pulling some profits as healthcare goes up, and look at healthcare today. I mean, wow, strong, super strong. Nice price action in XLV. I'm actually tempted to take a little bit more off the table on our XLV position here. Yeah, I'm probably going to close my XLV calls. All right, Alibaba's also making a nice push. Nice push, guys. Raising stop to break even on Baba. Still looking for a trim into that 94 area. I'll sell half, raise stops. Nice push on Alibaba. So my plan with healthcare, guys, I am trimming the last contract here. I'm all out at $8.90. 890 all out of our XLV position. I'm going to look to roll up and out. Nice push on Baba, guys. First trim is right at that 94 area. Come on. Come on, Baba. Push it. But I do have a break-even stop back at 40 cents on the $94 call. All right, guys. So I locked in 202% on the XLV calls. All out of XLV. Nice trade there. Come on, Baba. You can do it. Stop teasing me, man. A little bit more green starting to appear on the screen. Come on, Baba. SPY getting hammered again. Microsoft still strong. Meta flat. Apple up 0.4. Amazon up 0.3. Nvidia, Google still drilling. Qs are down 1.6. SPY down 0.8. IWM down 0.6. Oil down 1.8. Natural gas still up 1.43, but getting rejected off its breakout neckline zone. Bitcoin catching a nice buy. The dip trying to defend 59K. All right, first trim on Baba's coming up here, guys. Come on, Baba. 94 bucks. Make it there. Make it there. She's close. All right, guys, I took my first trim of Alibaba. First trim, 0.66. Boom. Raising stops. Nice job if you caught that. Nice 65% gain on first trim. Beautiful, man. Look at Baba flying, guys. All right, my next trim is going to be at 80 cents on the $94 calls. That'll be 100% gain. That's probably going to be around 94.40-ish. 94.40 is probably going to be up 100% on these Baba calls. IGV new high a day. Microsoft just ripping new high of day. Come on, Alibaba. One more little push. One more little push. All right, guys, I'm all out of Baba. 80 cents. That's 100% gain for me. Beautiful. All out of Baba, guys. Nice trade if you caught that. Semis are trying to stabilize just a touch here. So back to this Micron, still holding the Micron short from yesterday off that 1251. Not really looking at taking profits on Micron. I'm probably just gonna run with this one. I got 6 shares on the short side. I had 12 yesterday at that 1251. We trimmed half. I got 6 remaining. So that one's still coming in quite nicely. Yeah, software's just ripping, man. Wow, service now up 6.61%. Big bounce. GoDaddy, that's up. CRM ripping. Sheesh. So pretty much majority of everything is still selling except for actually resource stocks are catching a bid. That's still nice. VC. Nice bounce for Lululemon. AMD struggling immensely here. How's Nvidia doing? Nvidia almost kissing its daily 200 moving average today. Wow. Big spot for Nvidia. I wish it sold off a touch more. But yeah, Nvidia is getting a nice bounce off the lows there. Really firm. Gold seeing some liquidity, silver pushing. Oh, Google. Google's melting, guys. Google looks like it wants to take out the lows. Wow, that's gnarly price action for Google. Let's look at some of these other positions here. Bitcoin catching a really nice bid off the lows, acting extremely well. Palantir up 3%. S dot up 95. Wow, another day where Wendy's is pushing. Nokia getting slapped. BlackBerry, that's up another 4.26. This BlackBerry's ridiculous here. BB. Yeah, BlackBerry's going to take out the highs today. That's looking crazy strong. All right, semis are catching a little bit more of a bounce right now. You can see that Micron is bouncing off of its 7-day. Still so resilient. Google just looks nasty. I'm tempted to take some Google puts off of this next bounce. I might take some, excuse me. Let me just look at the chain. I honestly think Google is going to fly. What's it down right now? Down 1.85. So if it flushed down to there, that would be a crazy move. Down another 3% today. Could it do that? Could. Let me just tighten up this. See something. Yeah, I think Google is going to tap 335 today. I'm going to look at Google 335 puts. The Google's looking just straight like death. Wow. You see the Google 335 P's right now are at $1.05, $1.08. Give me a little bit more of a bounce, Google, and then I'll look to fade you down. So yeah, I'm hoping Google can get a small bounce here, and I'd look to jump into 335 zeros. SOXX is still remaining pretty weak down here. Meta's struggling. Tesla's still red. AMD down 3.8. Intel down 4.2. Netflix ripping up 3.78. SpaceX is still down 2.1. Semiconductors are trying to recapture its 20-day moving average. Again, I'm looking at Google puts, 335s, guys. 335 puts on Google. I'm looking to enter if Google can at least get above 338. What is that? 338.50 on Google. Google L. I'll look to enter these puts. 338.50. Let me pull it up here. Come on, Google, a little bit higher. Just a little bit more of a bounce. Oh no, don't get rejected. Yeah, right off this moving average, I'm gonna look to short Google. All right, SPY catching a nice bounce, trying to break out of its opening range high candle. We'll see if it can do so. SOXX is still melting to the downside. Shit, I'm just gonna grab some coffee. Just give me a second here. Strong bounce on your semis. Okay, guys, I'm still looking at these Google puts. Even with this massive move, MU oversold already? Yeah, it's getting a really fat bounce off the lows. For sure. That's the thing, right? Micron's still giving us higher lows, higher highs. So, and it did have a pretty good earnings report. So, I mean, I'm not surprised for a bit of a dip buy. But I'm just gonna hold the short and have a stop loss at break even in the event that that 1251 marks a significant pivot high. You know, if I get stopped out, I get stopped out. I'll look to re-enter higher, but yeah, I'm gonna remain short Micron until it stops me out or goes lower. Ah, shit, that 80 cents entry would have been perfect on Google. Damn. Still might happen. All right, so software catching a bit of a sell program or profit take, and that profit looks like it's rotating right back into semis. SOXX trying to recapture 600. Your FWM is your strongest indice. It is trying to go green on the session. Big squeeze on your SOXX. S&P is defending, trying to negate that bearish head and shoulders pattern on the hourly. Look at that hourly candle. It's certainly trying. Wild stuff. What's your 50-day moving average? Your 50-day moving average is trading at 734.39 on SPY. Interesting. What's Baba doing here? Let's look at Baba. Yeah, Baba's still pushing. Looks like it wants that gap fill. Very strong. All right, guys, Google's into the short zone. I'm going to take a half position here. Google short. I'm in Google puts. Half position. This is high risk, guys. Do not go in with crazy size if you're going to play. SOXX is busting through its opening range, just like SPY. So I got two fills on Google, one at 68 cents, one at 69 cents. It's a half position. Uh-oh. Come on, Google. Sell it down. SPY still strong. Sammys are still bouncing. Software consolidating. All right, first trim on Google puts is going to be around 89 cents, which is 30% gain. Come on, Google. Nice drop, guys. All right, guys, trimmed half of Google puts, 89 cents, 30% gain. Stop loss at break even. Another little win there. Beautiful. Nice. That was a clinical setup there. Just a quick little 5-minute candle pullback. Boom. 2 for 2. Live trading. Software still looks strong. Microsoft does look like it wants to target a new high of day. Micron pushing right through its pre-market high, going for that gap fill. My sense is saying Micron to new highs. We'll see. We'll see what happens. You still got a lot of weakness in semis. This is a kind of that first little half hour buy the dip where all those 0 DTE traders pile in. And then I feel like they're going to just be another fucking chop fest. But nice bounce on SPY though. I'll give them that. Really strong bounce. IWM's almost green. Go figure that. Apple pushing up 0.6. Microsoft up 2.86. Amazon up 0.6. Meta's green. Tesla just turned green. But software doing some heavy lifting today. Healthcare doing some heavy lifting today. Uh, Financials. Let me see here. JP Morgan still struggling, down 0.93%. Bitcoin turned green, so back above 60K. That's a very strong push on BTC. Those Google puts all out on the rest of the runners at break even, so still 2 for 2. Baba calls printed 100%. Google puts 30%, so don't get caught in a little bit of a squeeze on Google. Market's looking a little bit more resilient right now. Absolutely flying. Look at this SMG. This SMG could be a next squeeze candidate, guys. I don't know what the short interest is on Scott's Miracle Grow, but I think it's pretty decent. But setting up, this is a massive level for SMG here, guys. Scott's. Look at that. Coming into this high pivot zone where you saw a previous waterfall rejection. I mean, you get through that, and this thing is going to rip. So SMG looks squeezy on a Friday, moving to the top side. Craziness. Uranium also turning green. The whole market's catching quite a bit of buy side pressure. Anyone trading anything else right now? What are you guys looking at? Yeah, looking at Micron here. Wild stuff. IWM's now flat, trying to go green. Wow, BlackBerry's pushing here. BB, new highs. Ripper. So BlackBerry's gonna buy the dip today. Would I short Google again? Probably. I think Google's still remaining nasty. I mean, Google still looks pretty heavy. I would consider shorting Google again. That would have been a nice high pivot there. Shit. Micron semis are starting to push much firmer now. Holy, semis are catching that bid. Markets are full ripper. Behind. Holy moly. Look at SPY go. Still got weakness in Intel down 1.5%, Marvell down 3.2, but semis are trying to claw back here. Fantastic bounce for Micron, seeing a little bit of selling now. Software still your strongest sector. Well, across the board individual names. Microsoft just printed a new high of day. Microsoft is still squeezing. Its 7-day moving average is at 369. That's where it could be heading to today, guys. Microsoft 7-day 369. So this next pullback can be bought. If you get a little bit of a dip back down into, let's call it 362.50, could probably be bought on the long side of Microsoft. So look for dip buys in software trades. Semis are still showing quite a bit of weakness. Quantum's still struggling. Micron still down 2.5% after that big whopping move. Nvidia still struggling down 1.14. Look at Western Digital. That's down 8.23, guys. So that one hasn't been able to get going like we've seen. So that DRAM is under quite a bit of pressure this morning. DRAM down 3.85. How's SNDK doing? That's had a pretty big bounce. But yeah, Western Digital is lagging quite a bit. Interesting. Let's look at this on semiconductor as well. Look at on semis. That's down 20%. That is filthy, man. Wow. Gnarly price action. Look at AMD. Still bouncing. Intel. Still bouncing. Marvell. Still trying to bounce here. AVGO. Broadcom. Wow. This is a big spot as well. Maybe Broadcom's a dip buy. Interesting stuff. We'll keep Micron on watch. Microsoft seeing a small pullback, nothing major. You know, stocks looking good, guys, is Uber. Uber is looking great. Uber calls look decent. I Uber here. Let's see. Look back at this Google. Oh, guys, I'm gonna actually jump back into Google puts. I think there's another trade there. Wow, it was in the 330. I'm gonna look at the 337.50s. We get them under a dollar. All right, I'm gonna jump back into these Google 337.50 puts, but I want them under a dollar. I want them under a dollar. It's risky. Google's making a nice push off the lows. Software new high a day, IGV pushing. It looks like SOXX has a failed breakout out of its opening range high, so be careful. These semis could go right back down to the lows. It looks like a potential failed breakout. This is a massive spot for SOXX, trying to lose that opening range candle high. So if it does lose that, then it should melt back under pre-market low. And if it goes to pre-market low, this thing is going to melt. So just be careful. You know, some interesting observations, right? We usually see Western Digital pump off the open, it's lagging quite a bit. So just be careful. SOX is about to melt through that opening range low if it can't defend it. Lots of key technical levels here. If we break prior day and pre-market low in this close proximity, this should melt quite a bit lower. IGV still remains pretty strong. Google still trying to bounce. What else we got going on here? CRM still up 3.9, ServiceNow up 6.2. Microsoft testing 364, up 3.27% on Microsoft. Micron seeing quite a bit more sell side pressure. Micron right now is still above its pre-market high, but just above it. Seeing a little bit more sell side. Come on, Google, just a little bit higher, and I look for a short. All right, guys, this Google position's close. Puts, again, size appropriately if you're going to play. I am playing with a little bit of profit, so it's just a small position. But Google 337.50 Ps. Wow, what a push on SPY. SOXX is getting a nice bullish candle. IGV back to the highs. Supreme Leader, welcome. All right, nice decline back on Google. Come on, Google. I'm looking at first trim on Google around 338.30. 338.30, I'll trim half my Google. Stop loss on the Google position is going to be, what am I at? 76 cents. Nice job there, Supreme Leader. Nice push on Google, push to the downside. I like it. Come on, Google. All right, guys, first trim is coming up here on Google. Come on, a little bit more. Nice. All right. Just trimmed half of the Google puts. $1.26. Boom. 30% gain on Google puts again. Stop loss at break even. Next trim is coming up here, guys. Right off this opening range low, I'll look to exit all my Googles. Come on. Beautiful. That was telegraphed, guys. Google 337.50s. I said if you get them under $1, that would be the entry. We sniped it. Beautiful. Come on, Google. Trade is risk-free, can't go against me. Come on. If you want to leave runners in case we get a pretty big sell, by all means, but I'm still just going to look to take my profits right off this opening range low. Come on, a little bit more, a little bit lower, Google. Come on. You can do it. Go, baby, go. Microsoft, new high a day. IGV, new high a day. Markets are still pumping here. Software's still ripping, doing some heavy lifting. Bitcoin now up 0.5%. QQQ, SPY are still lagging a little bit, but SPY's trying to almost go green here with the Russell. Apple showing strength. Microsoft now up 4%. Amazon up 1.8. Tesla up 0.6. Meta up 1.5. Weakness still in your semis, but they're trying to also bounce. Come on, Google, melt it. Melt it. Semis are still struggling to get through that opening range high, guys. So we still have a little bit of intraday weakness, and it looks like it's doing another attempt at a failure here. So semis are still seeing quite a bit of selling off that 601, 602 area on SOXX. Come on, Google. Dump it. SPY's still showing resiliency. Microsoft new high of day. So Microsoft still looking like it wants to try to get to that 369 7-day moving average. That would be one crazy move if it does. Still sitting in half these Google puts. Come on down, Google. Come on down. Natural gas trying to push up here, guys. Gold, silver still strong. BTC still flexing. Small pullback here on SPY. SPY is definitely a little extended intraday. Could use a bit of a pullback, but a remarkable bounce on your S&P. That is decent. Be careful. Don't let Google go against you. Got to stop at break even, 96 cents if you're still in. Semis are getting rejected, guys, off the 600 area. Micron starting to roll here. IGV still printing to the high side, almost at its 7-day moving average. All right, my Google stop was tagged. But semis are starting to roll here. I might look at some SPY puts now. Look at these semis here. SOXX getting some harsh rejection. This can drag the market down. This looks like a failure of a breakout of opening range, guys. Yep, markets are going to melt here. NVIDIA getting slapped now too. AMD coming in. I'm gonna take a lotto put option on BlackBerry. I'm gonna take let me see here. BB, probably the shit 11s. Yeah, I'm gonna take the $11 puts on BlackBerry, guys. This is high risk. Lottos. That'll be my last trade of the day. Stocks are melting. Micron losing momentum. Coming quite nicely here. Come on, BlackBerry, come on down. BB, BB, come on down. All right, guys, I'm pretty much done for the day. Microsoft software still printing. Semis are still weak. I'm going to keep a stop loss on these BlackBerry puts around a 10-cent stop loss. Um, but other than they're lottos, so. But I'm pretty much done trading for the day. Nice little wins. Google, Baba, 2 Google wins, 1 Baba, and maybe a BlackBerry. But nevertheless, just be careful because if semis start to lose a little bit momentum, no matter how strong software is today, it will drag the main indices down. But nice little trading session, guys. All right, we'll see you a bit later.